Since the book with 7 seals is a symbolic history of the world, including events past, present, and future, the first task in its interpretation is to determine a meaningful chronology. While the 7 seals provide a structure to a theoretical chronology, they do not pinpoint where the present day fits within this framework. We do not know in which seal or 1,000 years we are currently living in from the account itself. Is there a way to make this determination with any degree of certainty? Again, we turn to Joseph Smith. In 1842, Joseph Smith wrote an editorial in the Times and Seasons entitled "The Government of God." In this editorial, Joseph made the claim that the world had already passed through 6,000 years of its temporal existence. It is likely that Joseph had learned this fact 10 years earlier, when he asked the Lord about the book of Revelation. Joseph asked more than a dozen questions of the Savior concerning John's apocalypse. Several of the questions and answers provide clues for constructing a rudimentary chronology within the framework of the seals. Joseph asked the Lord about the events described by the Apostle John in chapters 8 and 9. According to the Lord, the sounding of the trumpets in chapter 8 occur in the beginning of the 7,000 years. This is a future event. All the events of chapter 9, the rain of meteorites and debris from the planet Mars, are in the future as well. This signifies 2 things. First, the 7,000-year period, or the 7th seal, is yet in the future. Second, chapters 8 and 9 of John's Revelation and to the end of the book describe the future. Joseph also inquired about the events described in the 7th chapter of Revelation. The 4 angels sent forth from God and the angel ascending from the east will do their work during the 6th seal. Both these events are in the future. Chapter 6 of John's Apocalypse, at first appearance, is more complicated. Within this chapter, the first 6 seals are opened. There is no overt indication of when the past ends and the present or future begins. We do know from chapter 7 that at least part of the 6th seal lies in the future. Fortunately, we do know one event as historical. It occurs directly upon the opening of the 6th seal. As we will learn in a future episode, this is the catastrophic aftermath of the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. This was the great day of his wrath, as John called it. John described what happened in the heavens, writing that the stars of heaven, the planets above the earth, fell to earth. The heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, meaning that the great scroll of heaven, the planetary configuration of Saturn, Venus, Mars, and Earth, unraveled. With the unraveling of the great congregation of planets, the individual planetary gods departed the vicinity of Earth, eventually to take up their current positions in the solar system as planets. The combination of the Lord's statements as to the timing of the chapters of John's Revelation and the identification of the opening event of the 6,000 years validates Joseph Smith's assertion that the earth has already passed through 6,000 years of its temporal existence. Over 150 years after Joseph's statement, we are even closer to the opening of the 7th seal and the events of the 7,000 years. We stand at the cusp of the great and terrible events to be announced by the 7 angels with their 7 trumpets.